Maya's hands shook as she cleaned the wolf's wounds. The massive gray creature had been unconscious for 2 days now. His breathing was so shallow she had to press her ear to his ribs just to make sure he was still alive. She'd found him bleeding out by the old oak tree behind her cabin. 3 deep gashes across his side looked like claw marks. No normal animal could have done that kind of damage. But Maya had learned not to question the strange things that wandered into her life. She just helped where she could. She kept her mouth shut. The wolf stirred under her. Touch! A low whine escaped his throat. Maya's heart jumped. This was the first real sound he'd made since she'd dragged all 150 pounds of him into her spare bedroom. "Hey there," she whispered. Her fingers moved through the thick fur around his neck. "You're safe. I've got you." His eyes fluttered open, bright amber, more intelligent than any animal's should be. For just a moment, Maya could have sworn she saw gratitude there. Then his eyes rolled back. He went still again. Maya sat back on her heels. Exhaustion hit her like a wave. She hadn't slept properly in 48 hours. Her back ached from hunching over him. Her hands were raw from washing blood out of towels. But something deep in her chest wouldn't let her stop. This wolf needed her. Maya had never been able to turn away from anything that needed her help. It was a weakness. Her ex-husband had called it, "You can't save everything that's broken, Maya," he'd said the night he packed his bags. "Some things are just meant to stay damaged." She pushed the memory away, reached for the antiseptic again. The wolf's wounds should have been infected by now, should have been festering and hot to the touch. Instead, they were healing faster than anything she'd ever seen. The edges had already started knitting together. Pink skin showed through the matted fur. Maya had always been good with hurt animals. Her touch seemed to calm them, help them heal quicker than normal. But this was different. This was impossible. The front door of her cabin exploded inward. Maya scrambled to her feet. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Wood splintered across the floor. Cold mountain air rushed into the room. Through the destroyed doorway stepped the largest man Maya had ever seen. He had to duck to fit through the frame. His shoulders were so broad they nearly touched both sides of the opening. Dark hair fell past his collar. His eyes, God, his eyes were the same amber as the wolf's, but fierce and wild and fixed on her with an intensity that made her knees wobble. "Where is he?" The man's voice was a growl that seemed to vibrate through the floorboards. Maya pressed herself against the wall. Her mouth was too dry to form words. This stranger radiated danger like heat from a fire. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but her legs wouldn't move. His nostrils flared. His head turned toward the spare bedroom like a hunting dog, catching a scent. In 3 long strides, he crossed her living room, pushed past her into the small room where the wolf lay. Maya found her voice. "Wait, you can't just—" He dropped to his knees beside the wolf. His massive hands were surprisingly gentle as they moved over the gray fur. "Damn it, Finn! What did you do?" The familiarity in his voice stopped Maya's protest cold. She crept closer. Watch as this dangerous stranger touched the wolf like he was precious. Do you know him?" The question tumbled out before she could stop it. The man's amber eyes snapped to hers. Up close, they were even more unsettling. Wild and predatory. But underneath that was something that looked almost like pain. "He's my brother." Maya's brain stuttered. "Your brother? But he's—" "A wolf, yes." The man straightened to his full height, towered over her. "Just like I am." The room spun a little. Maya gripped the doorframe to keep herself upright. "That's not possible." Something that might have been a smile pulled at the corner of his mouth, but there was no humor in it. "You've been caring for him for 2 days. You've seen how fast he heals. Tell me you haven't noticed there's nothing normal about this." Heat flooded Maya's cheeks. He was right. She had noticed. She'd just been too afraid to admit what she was seeing. "What's your name?" he asked. "Maya." The word came out as barely a whisper. "Maya." He repeated it slowly, like he was tasting it. I'm Kieran. And you? His eyes moved over her face, searching for something. You've been healing him. It wasn't a question. Maya nodded anyway. He should be dead. Kieran's voice was rough. Those wounds, they were cursed, designed to drain the life out of him slowly. But look, he gestured to the wolf. Finn, his breathing was deeper now, steadier. The gashes that had been gaping holes 2 days ago were thin pink lines. I don't understand, Maya said. Kieran stepped closer. Maya's heart hammered as his scent hit her, something wild and clean, like pine forests and winter air. Her body reacted before her brain could catch up. Warmth pooled low in her belly. You have a gift, he said. Healing touch. It's rare among humans. Humans? Maya's voice cracked. As opposed to what? Werewolves. Kieran watched her face carefully. That's what we are, what Finn is. The word hung between them like a challenge. Maya waited for disbelief to kick in, for her rational mind to reject what he was telling her. Instead, puzzle pieces she hadn't known she was carrying clicked into place. The amber eyes, the impossible healing, the way the wolf had looked at her with too much intelligence. Prove it, she whispered. Kieran's eyebrows rose. You sure about that? Maya lifted her chin. Fear was still racing through her veins, but underneath it was something else. Curiosity, a pull toward this dangerous man that she couldn't explain. Show me. Kieran held her gaze for a long moment. Then he stepped back and began pulling off his shirt. Maya's breath caught. His chest was a map of scars and hard muscle, broader than should have been possible. But it was the markings across his ribs that made her stare, an intricate design that looked almost like tribal tattoos. Those aren't tattoos, Maya said suddenly. She didn't know how she knew, but she was certain. No, they're pack marks. They show our lineage, our rank. Kieran's hands moved to his belt. Last chance to look away. Maya didn't look away. The change happened faster than she could process. One moment, Kieran was a man. The next, a massive black wolf stood in her spare bedroom. He was even bigger than Finn, his fur so dark it seemed to absorb light. When he looked at her, those amber eyes held the same fierce intelligence as before. Maya's legs gave out. She slid down the doorframe until she was sitting on the floor, staring up at the impossible creature in front of her. The wolf shifted back with the same impossible speed. He was human again, naked and unself-conscious as he reached for his clothes. You're taking this better than most, he said, pulling his jeans back on. I think I'm in shock. Maya's voice sounded far away to her own ears. Kieran crouched in front of her, brought them to eye level. Maya, I need you to listen to me. Finn isn't just hurt, he's dying. The words hit her like cold water. Maya's gaze snapped to the gray wolf on the bed. But he's healing. I can see. The curse is still in his system. What you've done has slowed it down, kept him alive longer than should have been possible. But it's not enough. Kieran's voice was gentle but urgent. He needs more than what you can give him here. What do you mean? I mean you need to come with me, back to Packlands. Our healers can work with your gift. Amplify it. Kieran's eyes searched her face. It's the only way to save him. Maya's chest tightened. Leave her cabin, her safe, quiet life? The idea terrified her. I can't just... I have a life here, a job. Do you have family? Anyone who would miss you? The question stung because the answer was no. Maya had built her life small and careful after her divorce. Her job at the local veterinary clinic was the closest thing she had to real connections. Even those were surface level. That's not the point, she said. Isn't it? Kieran's voice was soft but relentless. When's the last time you did something that mattered? Something that made a real difference? Heat flashed through Maya, part anger, part something she didn't want to name. You don't know anything about me. I know you spent 2 days nursing a strange wolf back to health. I know you haven't left his side long enough to shower or eat a proper meal. Kieran's gaze moved over her face. I know you care more about saving him than you do about your own safety. Maya's throat closed. He was right. She hated that he could see through her so easily. "Where?" she whispered. "Montana, 3 hours north of here." "How long?" "I don't know. However long it takes." Maya looked at Finn again. Even unconscious, he looked fragile. The rise and fall of his chest was too shallow, too uneven. What if I can't help him? What if my whatever this is isn't enough? Something raw flashed across Kieran's features. Then he dies, and I live with the knowledge that I failed to protect my little brother. The pain in his voice made Maya's chest ache. She recognized that guilt, that desperate need to save someone who mattered. It was the same feeling that had kept her awake for 2 days straight. "If I come with you," she said slowly, "what happens to me after? Do I just come back here and pretend none of this happened?" Kieran was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know," he said finally. "Once you enter our world, it's hard to go back to pretending the normal one is enough." Maya's heart pounded. He was offering her everything she'd been afraid to want. Purpose, adventure, a chance to be part of something bigger than her small, safe life. But he was also asking her to give up everything familiar. On the bed, Finn made a soft sound, almost like a whimper. Maya was on her feet before she realized she'd moved. Her hand went automatically to his head. Under her touch, his breathing deepened, his body relaxed. Maya felt that strange warmth flow through her fingertips, the same sensation she'd been feeling for 2 days without understanding what it meant. "Okay," she said without looking away from Finn. "I'll come." When she finally turned around, the expression on Kieran's face stole her breath. Relief and gratitude, and something else. Something that made her pulse skip. "Thank you," he said. His voice was rougher than before. Maya nodded. She didn't trust herself to speak. She was about to change her entire life for a wolf she'd known for 2 days and a man she'd met 20 minutes ago. It should have felt crazy. Instead, for the first time in years, it felt like coming alive. Maya packed her life into 2 bags in under 10 minutes. Clothes, her few precious books, the photo of her parents. Everything that mattered fit in her old Honda's trunk. Everything else could wait. Kieran watched from the doorway. Finn was wrapped in blankets in his arms. The wolf looked so small against his brother's chest, so fragile. Maya's heart clenched every time she looked at him. "Ready?" Kieran asked. Maya nodded. Though ready felt like the wrong word. She was about to follow a stranger into the mountains based on nothing but an inexplicable connection to an injured wolf and the desperate look in an alpha's eyes. Ready didn't cover it. "I'll follow you," she said, jingling her car keys. "No." Kieran's voice was firm. "You ride with us. The roads where we're going aren't exactly on GPS." Maya hesitated. Getting in a car with him felt like crossing a line she couldn't uncross. But Finn whimpered softly. The decision made itself. "Fine. But if you're secretly a serial killer, I'm going to be really annoyed." The corner of Kieran's mouth twitched. "I'll keep that in mind." His truck was massive, black, looked like it could drive through a building without slowing down. Maya climbed into the passenger seat while Kieran settled Finn in the back. He arranged blankets around him with surprising gentleness. "Talk to him," Kieran said as they pulled out of her driveway. "It helps." Maya turned in her seat. Finn's breathing was still too shallow, but his eyes were closed peacefully. "Hey, little guy, we're going somewhere safe. Okay? Somewhere you can get better." Finn's ear twitched. Maya reached back to touch his head. That familiar warmth flowed through her fingertips. His breathing immediately deepened. "That's incredible," Kieran said quietly. Maya looked at her hand. "I still don't understand what this is." Healers are rare. Most supernatural communities would kill to have one. The casual way he said kill made Maya's stomach drop. "Great. So I'm painting a target on my back. Not while I'm alive." The certainty in his voice made something flutter in Maya's chest. She'd been taking care of herself for so long. The idea of someone else protecting her felt foreign, dangerous. They drove in comfortable silence for the first hour. Winding through increasingly empty roads, Maya found herself stealing glances at Kieran. He drove with the same controlled intensity he seemed to bring to everything else. His hands were steady on the wheel, his jaw set with determination. "Tell me about him," Maya said finally. "About Finn." Kieran's grip on the wheel tightened. "He's my half-brother, 23 years old, too stubborn for his own good." "That sounds familiar." Kieran shot her a look. He wasn't supposed to be alone that night. Pack rules, no one hunts solo. But he did anyway. "He's been struggling since our father died last year." Kieran's voice went rough. "The pack looks to me now, but Finn's always felt like he had something to prove, like he had to earn his place." Maya heard the guilt underneath his words. "So he went out alone to prove himself and walked right into a trap." Kieran's knuckles were white now. "The curse was meant for me." "What kind of curse?" "The kind that slowly drains your life force until there's nothing left." Kieran's jaw clenched. "Our enemies wanted to watch me die slowly. Instead, my little brother is paying the price for my choices." Maya turned to check on Finn again. He looked so young, even in wolf form. "How do you know I can break it?" "Because you're the only thing that's helped him in 3 weeks. Every healer we've tried, every medicine man, every witch, nothing worked. But you touch him, and he gets stronger." "For how long, though? What if it's just temporary?" Kieran was quiet for a long moment. "Then we'll deal with that when we have to." The mountains loomed ahead of them now, tall and forbidding against the darkening sky. Maya had never been this far from civilization. The endless trees made her feel small. "What's your pack like?" she asked. "Protective, suspicious of outsiders. They're not going to trust you at first." "That's comforting." "They'll come around once they'll see what you can do for Finn." Kieran glanced at her. "But some of them might not want to let you leave after." Maya's pulse jumped. "Meaning?" "Meaning healers are precious, and my pack has been through a lot lately. They might see you as too valuable to lose." "You mean they might try to keep me prisoner?" "I won't let that happen." The steel in Kieran's voice made her believe him. "But it's something you should know." Maya looked out at the darkening wilderness. Every mile took her further from everything familiar, deeper into a world she didn't understand. Her old life was disappearing behind them with every turn of the wheels. "Why didn't you just take him to a hospital?" she asked. "And tell them what? That he's cursed? That he's not exactly human?" Kieran shook his head. "Human medicine can't touch supernatural problems. But mine can. Your gift isn't human either." Maya stared at him. "What do you mean?" "Pure humans can't do what you do. There's something else in your bloodline. Something that's been sleeping until now." "That's impossible. I'd know if I was whatever you are." "Not necessarily. Mixed bloodlines can skip generations, and some gifts don't awaken until they're needed." Maya's mind reeled. Her parents had been perfectly normal people. Her mother had been a librarian. Her father had sold insurance. There was nothing supernatural about her family. But then again, she'd never been able to explain why injured animals always came to her, why her touch seemed to calm them, why she'd always felt like she was waiting for something to happen. "What do you think I am?" she asked quietly. "I don't know yet. But your healing gift is strong enough to work on werewolves. That means your bloodline is powerful." In the back seat, Finn stirred restlessly. Maya reached for him automatically. He settled under her touch. "There," Kieran said softly. "That connection you feel to him, that's not normal either." Maya's cheeks heated. "I just want to help him." "I know, but the pull you're feeling, the way you respond to his distress, that's supernatural too." Maya didn't want to admit he was right, but from the moment she'd found Finn bleeding in her yard, she'd felt connected to him in a way that made no sense, like they were linked somehow. "The pack is going to smell the gift on you the second you arrive," Kieran continued. "They'll know what you are, even if we don't." "Will that make things easier or harder?" "Probably both." They turned off the main highway onto a dirt road that wound up into the mountains. Maya's ears popped from the altitude change. The trees pressed close on both sides. She couldn't see any lights ahead. "How much further?" she asked. "Another hour." Maya settled back in her seat. Finn was sleeping more peacefully now, his breathing steady. She kept one hand stretched back toward him, maintaining that healing connection. "He's lucky you found him," Kieran said. "He found me. Actually, just collapsed in my backyard. Even dying, he knew where to go." Kieran's voice was thoughtful. "That's not coincidence." "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe you were supposed to find each other." The idea sent a shiver down Maya's spine. She'd spent her whole life feeling like she was waiting for something, like there was a piece of herself missing. What if Finn, and by extension, this whole supernatural world, was what she'd been waiting for? "Kieran?" Finn's voice was weak but clear. Both Maya and Kieran startled. Finn had been unconscious for hours. "I'm here," Kieran said immediately, pulling the truck over. "How do you feel?" "Better." Finn struggled to lift his head. His wolf eyes found Maya. "You came." "Of course I came." Maya turned in her seat to face him properly. "How's the pain?" "Manageable. Your touch helps." Maya reached for him. Finn leaned into her hand. The healing warmth flowed between them, stronger than before. "We're almost home," Kieran told his brother. "The pack is waiting." Finn's ears flattened slightly. "They're not going to like this. A human in pack territory." "She's not fully human," Kieran said, "and she's saving your life. They'll deal with it." "What if the curse is too strong? What if even she can't break it completely?" Maya heard the fear underneath Finn's words. "Then we'll figure something else out. I'm not giving up on you." Finn's wolf eyes studied her face. "Why? You barely know me." Maya didn't know how to explain the connection she felt to him, the way her heart had broken when she'd found him bleeding. Sometimes caring doesn't require knowing someone for years. Sometimes it just happens. Kieran's hands tightened on the steering wheel. When Maya looked at him, his expression was unreadable. "The curse won't like her interference," Finn said quietly. "It might fight back." "Fight back how?" Maya asked. "Curses are living things in a way. When you try to break them, they defend themselves." Maya's stomach clenched. "What does that mean for me?" "It means it might try to hurt you to stop you from healing me," Finn said. "It might try to drain your energy instead of mine." "Absolutely not." Kieran's voice was sharp. "If it's too dangerous, I can handle it," Maya interrupted. "I'm stronger than I look." "This isn't about physical strength," Kieran said. "This is about magical forces that could kill you. And if I don't try, Finn dies anyway." Maya met Kieran's eyes in the rearview mirror. "I'm not walking away now." Kieran stared at her for a long moment. Maya saw the exact instant he recognized the same stubborn determination that probably ran in his own family. "Then we do this carefully," he said finally, "with the whole pack there to help if something goes wrong." They drove the last stretch in tense silence. Maya's nerves built with every mile, but her resolve didn't waver. She'd made her choice back in her apartment. She wasn't backing down now. When they finally crested a hill and she saw lights in the distance, Maya's breath caught. It wasn't the small cabin she'd been expecting. It was a compound. Multiple buildings scattered through a clearing. People moving between them even this late at night. "Welcome to pack territory," Kieran said quietly. Maya stared at the settlement below. Her old life was officially behind her now. Whatever happened next, there was no going back. But as Finn pressed closer to her hand and Kieran's eyes met hers in the mirror, Maya realized she didn't want to go back. For the first time in her life, she was exactly where she was supposed to be. The first thing Maya noticed about the pack house was how quiet it got when she walked in. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. People turned to stare. She felt like she was under a microscope. "Ignore them," Kieran said quietly. His hand rested on her lower back as he guided her through the main room. "They're curious, not hostile." Maya wasn't so sure. The looks she was getting ranged from suspicious to openly wary. She was human in a house full of wolves. They all knew it. Finn had shifted back to human form and put on clothes before they'd entered the compound. He walked beside her now, still pale and weak, but determined to be on his feet. Every few steps, Maya felt the urge to reach out and steady him, but she forced herself to keep her hands to herself. Whatever was happening between them was confusing enough without adding more physical contact. Maya, a woman's voice cut through the tension. I'm Elena, the pack healer. Maya turned to see a middle-aged woman with graying hair and kind eyes approaching her. Elena looked her up and down, not in judgment, with professional interest. So you're the one who's been keeping our Finn alive? Elena said. I can feel the magic on him. It's unusual. Is that bad? Maya asked. No, child, it's remarkable. I've been trying to slow this curse for weeks. You managed to actually reverse some of the damage. Elena's eyes sharpened. How much do you know about what you can do? Maya glanced at Kieran. He was watching the conversation intently. She could feel his tension radiating through the space between them. Not much, Maya admitted. It just happens. When I touch someone who's hurt, sometimes I can help. Sometimes it doesn't always work, and it's stronger with some people than others. Elena nodded slowly. Has it ever been as strong as it is with Finn? Maya thought about it. No, never. Interesting. Elena looked between Maya and the two brothers. Let's get Finn somewhere comfortable. We have a lot to discuss. They settled in what Elena called the healing room, a large, bright space with a hospital bed and medical equipment that looked both modern and ancient. Finn lay down gratefully. Maya could see how much the short walk had exhausted him. The curse is tied to his life force, Elena explained as she checked Finn's vitals. Every day it drains a little more. At the rate it's been progressing, he has maybe a week left. Maya's stomach dropped. That soon? Unless we can break it completely. Elena looked at Maya seriously. Which brings us to you. Your healing magic isn't just strong. It's specifically strong with Finn. There's a reason for that. Kieran stepped forward. What kind of reason? Elena hesitated. There are old stories, legends about healers who are connected to specific bloodlines. Healers who are meant to be part of a family, whether by birth or by... She trailed off. By mating, Kieran finished, his voice tight. Maya felt heat rise in her cheeks. That's ridiculous. I just met you all yesterday. Mate bonds don't follow human timelines, Elena said gently. They can form instantly, and they can be incredibly strong. Strong enough to enhance magical abilities. You think Maya is Finn's mate? Kieran asked. Maya heard something in his voice, pain maybe, or disappointment. No, Elena said slowly. I think Maya's magic is responding to this family's bloodline, but mate bonds are specific. They don't just connect to anyone in a family. She looked directly at Kieran. They connect to one person. The silence that followed was deafening. Maya felt her heart racing as the implications sank in. She looked at Kieran and saw her own confusion reflected in his face. That's impossible, Maya said finally. I was healing Finn before I even met Kieran. Because you're destined to be part of this family, Elena said. Your magic recognized that before you did. But the bond itself, she gestured between Maya and Kieran. That's separate, and that's why your healing is so strong. Maya sank into a chair. This was too much. Yesterday, she'd been living a quiet, normal life. Now she was supposedly destined to be mated to an alpha werewolf she'd known for less than 24 hours. I need some air, she said, standing abruptly. Maya, Kieran started. Please, just give me a minute. She walked outside onto a large deck that overlooked the forest. The night air was cool against her flushed cheeks. She gripped the railing and tried to make sense of everything she'd learned. Mate bonds, destiny, magic tied to bloodlines. It sounded like something out of a fantasy novel, not her real life. Having second thoughts, Kieran's voice came from behind her. Maya didn't turn around. Wouldn't you? About saving my brother? Never. That's not what I meant. Kieran moved to stand beside her at the railing. I know what you meant. They stood in silence for a moment. Maya was hyper-aware of his presence beside her. The warmth radiating from his body, the steady sound of his breathing, the way her magic seemed to hum when he was close. This is crazy, she said finally. Yeah, it is. I don't know anything about being a werewolf's mate. I don't know anything about pack politics or supernatural politics or any of this. You don't have to know anything right now. Maya finally looked at him. Don't I? If Elena's right, if we're really… She couldn't finish the sentence. Mates, Kieran said quietly, is we're mates. Then what? I give up my life, move here, learn to be part of a pack. What if I'm terrible at it? What if your pack never accepts me? What if we're wrong about all of this? Kieran was quiet for a long moment. What if we're right? Maya felt something flutter in her chest at the way he said it, like the possibility didn't terrify him the way it terrified her. You're not scared? She asked. I'm terrified, Kieran admitted, but not of being wrong. I'm scared of you deciding this is all too much and walking away. Maya studied his profile in the moonlight. Would you blame me if I did? No, but I'd spend the rest of my life wondering what we could have had. The honesty in his voice made Maya's chest tight. Kieran, I know it's fast, I know it's overwhelming, but Maya, what I feel for you… He turned to face her fully. I've never felt anything like this before, and it's not just the mate bond. It's you. The way you didn't hesitate to help a wounded wolf. The way you're willing to risk yourself to save Finn. The way you're standing here having this conversation instead of running? Maya laughed despite herself. Who says I'm not planning to run? Are you? Maya looked into his eyes and felt that electric connection again, stronger this time. I don't know, maybe. This is all happening so fast. Then let's slow it down. What do you mean? After we save Finn, and we will save him, you don't have to decide anything. You can go back to your apartment, go back to your life. We can take time to figure out what this is between us. Maya felt a stab of something that might have been disappointment. You want me to leave? I want you to choose to stay. There's a difference. Before Maya could respond, the door opened behind them. Finn appeared, looking even paler than before. Sorry to interrupt, he said, but Elena thinks we should try the healing tonight. The curse is fighting back harder now that it knows Maya's here. If we wait, it might get stronger. Maya's stomach dropped. Fighting back how? I feel worse than I did an hour ago, Finn admitted. A lot worse. Kieran cursed under his breath. It's trying to kill him before Maya can break it completely. Maya didn't hesitate. Then let's do this. They went back inside to find Elena preparing the healing room. She'd lit candles around the space and cleared away all the medical equipment except for the basics. This isn't going to be like your other healings, Elena warned Maya. The curse will try to drain you instead of letting you drain it. You need to be prepared for that. What does that mean exactly? It means it's going to hurt a lot, and it might try to make you stop by threatening Finn's life. Maya looked at Finn. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, looking like he might collapse at any moment. Threatening how? By making his condition worse if you keep trying to heal him, Elena said. Curses are manipulative. This one will try to convince you that you're killing him instead of saving him. But I won't be? Not if you push through it. But Maya, you have to understand, this will be the hardest thing you've ever done. And if you stop halfway through… Finn dies, Maya finished. Yes. Maya took a deep breath. Okay. What do I need to do? Elena had Maya sit beside Finn on the bed. Start like you normally would. But when the curse fights back, don't let go. No matter what you see or feel or think is happening, don't let go. Maya nodded and placed her hands on Finn's chest. Immediately, she could feel the curse, a dark, oily presence wrapped around his life force like a strangling vine. She began to push her healing energy into him. At first, it worked the way it always did. She could feel the curse weakening, could sense Finn's strength returning. Then the curse struck back. Pain exploded through Maya's body. So intense, she gasped. It felt like every nerve was on fire. She heard Finn cry out and started to pull back, but Kieran's voice cut through her panic. Don't stop, Maya. It's lying to you. Maya forced herself to keep her hands in place, pushed more healing energy forward. The curse responded by making her feel like she was being torn apart from the inside. I'm hurting him, she gasped. No, you're not, Elena said firmly. Look at him, Maya. Really look. Maya opened her eyes and saw that Finn's color was better, not worse. The curse was making her feel like she was killing him, but her magic was actually working. She gritted her teeth and pushed harder. The curse changed tactics. Suddenly, Maya was overwhelmed with visions. Finn dying, Kieran blaming her, the pack turning on her. She saw herself alone, her magic burning out. Everyone she cared about dead because of her interference. It's not real. Kieran's voice was right beside her ear now. Maya, stay with us. It's not real. Maya clung to the sound of his voice and kept pushing. The curse was weakening. She could feel it. But it wasn't giving up without a fight. Pain racked her body again, worse this time. She felt like she was being electrocuted and set on fire simultaneously. Everything in her screamed to let go, to stop before she killed them both. Instead, she gathered every ounce of strength she had, shoved her healing magic forward like a battering ram. The curse shattered. Maya collapsed backward. Kieran caught her before she could fall off the bed. For a moment, the room spun around her, and she couldn't catch her breath. Then she heard it. Finn's voice, stronger than it had been in weeks. Maya? Maya, are you okay? She opened her eyes and saw him sitting up on his own, color in his cheeks, looking more alive than she'd ever seen him. Did it work? She whispered. Elena was checking Finn's pulse, her face amazed. The curse is gone, completely gone. Maya laughed, a sound somewhere between relief and hysteria. We did it. You did it, Kieran said quietly. His arms were still around her. Maya realized she didn't want him to let go. I couldn't have done it without you, she said. When the curse was showing me those visions, your voice was the only thing that kept me grounded. Something shifted in Kieran's expression. Maya, I know what this is between us, she said, before she could lose her nerve. Elena was right. I can feel it, the mate bond, and I'm not running. You're sure? Maya looked around the room. At Finn, healthy and whole. At Elena, smiling with relief. At the pack members who had gathered in the doorway to watch. Then she looked back at Kieran. I've never been more sure of anything in my life, she said. I want to stay. I want to learn about all of this. And I want to see what we can build together. Kieran's smile was brighter than the sun. Even though it's crazy? Especially because it's crazy. He kissed her then, soft and sweet and full of promise. Maya felt the mate bond settle into place between them, like a missing puzzle piece finally finding its home. When they broke apart, Finn was grinning at them despite his exhaustion. So I guess this means you're staying, he said to Maya. Looks like it. Good, Finn said, because I owe you my life. And I was hoping to have time to properly thank you. Maya squeezed his hand. Just stay healthy, that's thanks enough. As the pack members began to drift away and Elena started cleaning up, Maya found herself alone with the two brothers who had completely changed her world in the space of 24 hours. So what happens now? She asked. Kieran pulled her closer against his side. Now we figure out how to be mates. We learn about each other, we build something real. And I teach you everything you need to know about being part of a pack, Finn added, starting with the fact that Kieran snores. I do not, Kieran protested. Maya laughed, feeling lighter than she had in years. I think I can handle a little snoring. What about the rest of it? Kieran asked more seriously. The pack politics, the supernatural world, all the things you said you don't know anything about. Maya considered that. A week ago, the unknown had terrified her. Now, with Kieran's arm around her and Finn's grateful smile warming her heart, the unknown felt like an adventure. I guess I'll learn, she said. We'll figure it out together. Together, Kieran agreed. Maya heard the promise in his voice. As they walked back toward the main house, Maya caught sight of the moon through the windows, full and bright above the mountain peaks. It looked like a blessing. She realized Elena had been right about one thing. She had been meant to be part of this family, not because of destiny or bloodlines or ancient magic, but because this was where her heart had chosen to belong. Everything else they'd figure out as they went.